A C-section isn't just a birth, it's a major abdominal surgery. You are healing from an incision that cut through 7 layers: skin, fat, fascia, abdominal muscles, often pulled apart and not cut, the uterus, and more. The rates right now are 48% of women in North America now deliver via C-section, but we really talk about how to optimize that recovery. Welcome to Biohacking with Brittany, where high performance health meets non-toxic living. I'm Brittany Ford, a holistic nutritionist, bringing you science-backed strategies in biohacking, longevity, and holistic wellness. Whether you're navigating fertility, pregnancy, postpartum, or simply striving for optimal well-being, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to this week's AMA episode, Ask Me Anything. These are some questions that are pulled from my DMs and over on Instagram. And I kind of just pick a few different ones and dive into my experience, research, data, insights, everything I can kind of find on the topic and bring you as much support and help as I can for your health questions. If you want to submit your question, you can totally do that on my Instagram account at biohackingbritany, and I answer all of my own DMs. A lot of people like to ask me that question, but yes, I do. Sometimes it just takes me a few days to get to everybody. So today's episode is great. There is quite a range of topics that we are going to get into. I'm going to talk about using lion's mane or other functional mushrooms while breastfeeding. I'm going to talk about C-section scar healing. Wow, big topic. Lots to say. How to heal in the beginning days, later on, my personal experience, the biohacks, the holistic way of doing things. So much to say. Before we dive into all of that goodness, I want to do a shout out to BiOptimizers. Speaking of functional mushrooms, they make a wonderful mushroom breakthrough drink. I have this every afternoon, sometimes in the morning instead of coffee. And essentially it has 4 different types of mushrooms in it, and they act as like adaptogens in the body. So basically adaptogens meet your body where it's at and either bring hormones up or bring them down, as in like increase or decrease the levels based on how your body is currently doing. So it has like lion's mane in it, cordyceps, reishi, and mushrooms that really help to target brain health. The thing I love the most about this mushroom breakthrough drink is it actually is so good for baby brain or mom brain, whatever you want to call it. But when you can't call things, like can't recall things, you have brain fog or you're just kind of stuck, this is actually really great for that. And I found a big, big difference when I started taking it every single day. I make a glass for me and my husband. He loves it as well while he's at work. And you can use my discount code BIOHACKINGBRITTANY to get 10% off all of their supplements. And also their mushroom breakthrough has great flavors: chocolate, chai, salted caramel, wonderful. And also a shout out to Novus. Novus is next level when it comes to longevity and anti-aging. They created a product called Novus Core, and it's another drink actually, and it's a powder that you add to water, and it targets all 12 different mechanisms of how we age in our body, known as the 12 hallmarks of aging. So there's different pathways that we age. There's different things that happen on a cellular level that cause us to age either slower or faster than someone who is our chronological age. And they have this all in one juicy packet, and it is so good. I literally sent them an email this morning. I was like, I need more of this. I'm running out. I am obsessed with it. It's great for longevity, cellular health, skin, hair, like how you actually appear on the outside in terms of aging. But the best thing about this, and I always talk about this when I talk to people about Novus, is that I actually feel a difference when I'm drinking it. It's not one of those supplements that like it's like, oh, take this for 3 months and then you're going to notice a difference. It's like immediate for me. I feel energized, my cells feel rejuvenated, and I feel better. And it's not placebo effect because I have taken other supplements that are very similar and have not felt nearly as good. So I highly, highly recommend you check out Novus. That's spelled Novos. And you can use my discount code BIOHACKINGBRITTANY and it will save you. They do subscriptions. They have a few other supplements, but their Novus Core is what they're known for. Strongly, strongly suggest for all the biohackers out there who are like, yeah, let's get my longevity up and running and, optimized. Okay. Without further ado, let's dive into this episode. This woman wrote, "Hi, Brittany. Have you read any research about lion's mane during breastfeeding?" As in taking it is what she means. "I feel like there's a lack of research, but I want to start taking it now that I'm postpartum." This is a good question and something I've kind of dabbled with in different ways. And I will tell you kind of what I've done after this. Pre-pregnancy, I took lion's mane, took many mushrooms, functional, magical, medicinal, whatever. Took many mushrooms pre-pregnancy. And then obviously during pregnancy and breastfeeding, I've been a little bit more cautious. Lion's mane is a medicinal mushroom known for its neuroregenerative properties, and it stimulates nerve growth factor and supports cognitive function, memory, and mood. That's why it is actually in so many brain supplements, like the one from Bioptimizers that I was talking about that has their mushroom breakthrough drink that really, really is for brain health. So it has been shown promise in reducing postpartum brain fog and anxiety, which we know is just super, super common challenges after birth. Here's the thing though, there are no solid clinical research studies on using this while breastfeeding. And that is very, very typical with herbs and plants. And it's simply just under-researched in postpartum women. To be honest, a lot of these herbs and plants are just under-researched in women, period, not even including the postpartum part, because there's just a lack of research on women in general. That doesn't mean that it's not safe, and that doesn't mean that's not something you can try. So there was one 2020 animal study that showed that lion's mane has anxiolytic, I don't know if I'm saying that right, effects and supported cognitive function in mice, including protective effects on maternal behavior, which is pretty interesting. It's generally considered safe and non-toxic, but because it can affect neurotransmitters and immune response, some practitioners recommend waiting until baby is older or just starting with a very low dose. My personal take on something so specific like this is wait at least 3 months postpartum and then just start with a very, very small amount from a very reputable brand. You'll want to look for non-GMO, organic, tested for heavy metals, and you want to monitor both yourself and your baby when you're doing something like this. Like I've talked about before, especially with the mushroom breakthrough from Bioptimizers, I definitely feel an increase in focus and mental clarity, and I have had zero negative effects, and neither has my son. I personally think that something like this is, especially if it's organic and well-tested, and you're having it in low doses, I don't see it being problematic. I think it can help, especially for women who are struggling with brain health, but also women who are struggling with mental health. We're talking about like anxiety, stress, overwhelm. I think it can be really wonderful for that as well. So I say try it. Watch for symptoms, watch for signs. And if you start to feel uncomfortable, stop doing it. It is not magical. It's not a magical mushroom. You're not going to start seeing things. It's medicinal. So it's only medicinal, I guess. So just use caution, but I think it's safe. Okay. Question number 2. Oh my gosh. This is a big question. I hope I don't cry. Okay. So where does this question come from? First of all, the question is about healing a C-section scar. I want to be so honest with you guys. I posted a picture of my C-section scar on my Instagram stories last week, I think it was. And that story got I don't even know, 8,000 impressions, something like that. I think it's the highest amount of impressions or views I've had in the last 3 months, which I did not expect. Because it's like not a glamorous photo or anything like that. Yeah, I feel like I'm going to get emotional, but I think it's because not a lot of people maybe post their C-section scars. Maybe, I don't know. But in response to that, I also got flooded in my DMs with questions because on that story, I wrote, I am slowly working to be able to fully heal my C-section scar and be able to pull it off of my body. Like it's very hard to explain over audio and not a video, but essentially like roll up the skin and be able to pull it off of the flesh and the scar tissue underneath it. I'm going to get to that in a minute. And when I wrote that, so many people replied to that story being like, how, why, how does your scar look like that? What did you do? I had a C-section. Oh my goodness. And so I was like, okay, this needs to go into a podcast episode. And I also just want to read out this one message that I got from a friend of mine. And she wrote to me on a few days ago, and she wrote, so basically she just had a baby and she had an unexpected C-section after a very long labor. And she wrote, she's explaining it. She sent photos. She's like, I wanted to reach out and just get some of your experience on how the recovery has been going, especially at the beginning. This was totally not part of the plan. So I'm trying to stay calm and be super slow. C-sections are not for the weak. Holy moly. Is there anything you wish you did more of or less of? And products or things you used on the incision/scar. Thanks in advance. I just my heart goes out to her so much because I know that feeling so deeply. Oh my goodness, so deeply. I also had an unplanned C-section 8 months ago. And so I get where she is coming from. And it is wild how common C-sections are now. I was in quite a while ago, a few months ago, I was in a pelvic floor physiotherapy or some sort of physiotherapy thing for mothers. There's multiple mothers there. And there was 11 mothers there. And then the physiotherapist said, okay, raise your hand if you've had a C-section. And out of the 11 women there, 8 women raised their hands, including me. And I looked around and I was like, are you kidding me? And now, mind you, not their fault, not my fault, but this is, and maybe this is beyond the scope of this question, which is probably true, but man, the amount that we are using C-sections in society, the rates of using it in hospitals is just increasing. And there's so much that can be done in order to avoid that. There's so much complications that can happen because of it to mom and to baby. And it just broke my heart when I saw that, and makes me sad for all of the women out there who are listening to this, healing, and who've maybe been through it themselves. Yeah, it's so complex. You have so many feelings about it. You have so many emotions, especially if it's your first baby. I just feel like there's so much to unpack with it. And I kind of unpacked some of it when I did my birth episode. But I think when I come up to a year of my baby being 1, I think I'm going to kind of do a deeper emotional dive into all of this because it's a bit beyond the scope of this episode. But just to talk about what that meant for me in the moment, how I'm healing from the trauma of that, and how I feel today type of vibe. But for right now, we're going to talk about your scar, if you have a C-section scar, how you can heal it, what you can do about it. Because there's so much you can do. There is actually so much you can do. A C-section isn't just a birth. It's a major abdominal surgery. You are healing from an incision that cut through 7 layers: skin, fat, fascia, abdominal muscles, often pulled apart and not cut, the uterus, and more. The rates right now are 48% of women in North America now deliver via C-section, but we really talk about how to optimize that recovery. Lately, we've all been reminded how important it is to stay sharp no matter how old we are. We really can't let the years slow down our mental game. Whether we're 30, 40, 80, we can choose to feel our best. If you've noticed that your brain feels a bit foggy as you age, or even as you're a new mom and you're experiencing mom brain, as they call it, it is time to clear the mental cobwebs. And I can't think of a better and more delicious way to do it than by having my daily dose of Mushroom Breakthrough from BiOptimizers. Mushroom Breakthrough packs a powerful punch with 4 cognitive boosting mushrooms: lion's mane, chaga, cordyceps, and reishi, plus collagen for extra brain support. Lion's mane in particular can increase the levels of BDNF, which is a protein that helps brain cells grow. This is crucial for learning and memory, which typically decline as we age. It's kind of like fertilizer for your brain cells. On top of these incredible benefits, it's also delicious and comes in 3 different flavors that all taste amazing. Give Mushroom Breakthrough a try and feel the difference. I have a glass every single day, and you can do the same. Head to biooptimizers.com/Brittany, and you can use my discount code BIOHACKINGBRITTANY, which is in all capitals, to get your Mushroom Breakthrough for 10% off today. Your future self will thank you. So let's break this down. Let's start in the beginning days. Oh, I don't know why I feel like I'm going to cry. Okay. The acute phase, 0 to 2 weeks. This is the most delicate time after your C-section. Don't even be thinking about massage, this cream or that cream. No. Like, don't even worry about any of that. Focus on your baby and focus on yourself. Right now, the primary goal is to seal and repair the tissues deep in you, not even the skin that you're seeing on top, the tissues. Reduce the infection risk and stabilize your hormones. So there's a lot that is happening. There's a lot that is happening that you can't actually see, but you can definitely feel it, but you can't actually see it. So what you can do is you can eat certain things that can help. So prioritizing protein and collagen is huge here. Honestly, this is huge all of postpartum, but especially in those first few weeks. At least 100 grams of protein daily supports tissue regeneration. Collagen contains glycine and proline, which is crucial for wound repair. I actually want to give you some practical tips here. I'm not going to say just like have collagen, because that's not helpful for people who don't know what that is, how to use that, anything like that. Essentially, collagen has different amino acids in it, and amino acids make up protein. Collagen is something that you can get that's unflavored, and it's a powder, a protein powder that you can add to things or even bake with just to add more protein to what you're eating. So the way that I used to do it is I would add it to my yogurt in the morning. Sometimes I would add it to coffee. Very easy to add to smoothies. You can add it to, if you make anything pureed, and I just know that because that's what I do with my baby. You can bake it into breads, muffins, anything like that. You can add in collagen powder, the unflavored kind. And if it's bovine collagen, that's like my preferred type. Make sure it's grass-fed and grass-finished. And then you can use that in all types of recipes. You can also add vitamin C, which helps with it and helps and is required for collagen synthesis and immune function, about 1,000 milligrams a day. And you can add in zinc. So about 15 to 30 milligrams a day speeds up wound healing and reduces inflammation. A 2018 meta-analysis found that patients with higher vitamin C and zinc levels had significantly faster surgical recovery times. I actually knew that, and I was actually taking vitamin C during my third trimester and then very close to birth. So that's kind of what you can eat. And then the other questions are, what can you do? So in this time, again, I really don't suggest doing a lot. You want to be very, very gentle with your body. You can do red light therapy over the lower abdomen, like right where the scar is. But personally, I didn't do this. I found it was very, very sensitive to touch, that I like the device that I use today, which is a Kineon device that like straps around your body. I would never have used in the beginning because it would have been too like abrasive on the scar. However, if you had a red light panel, you could stand in front of that. I think that could work. And you want to look for 650 to 850 nanometers in terms of the light range. This can accelerate wound healing by increasing ATP production in the cells. And NASA actually originally developed this for astronauts to heal wounds in space, which is really cool. So if you have a red light panel, I would do that. Otherwise, anything that you have to attach to your body, hold off. Other things that are recommended that I would say here that are very general is really be careful with the clothing that you choose. After my C-section, it was in the middle of the summer, so I bought a bunch of cheap, large, short pajamas. I think I got them from like Walmart. I don't even know. I think my mom bought them. And I wore those day in and day out because I did not wear anything low-waisted whatsoever, because you don't want anything rubbing against the scar and causing friction. You want to keep it super airy. You want the air to be able to access it once you're allowed to take the bandages off, because this is going to help it oxidize and heal faster. So you don't want to keep it covered up in tight pants. I didn't wear any leggings, any Lululemon, any tight, anything, nothing for a long time, maybe like 6 weeks. Everything was loose. Dresses are fabulous for this, and nothing low-waisted whatsoever. I also went and actually bought underwear that was like shorts. It was the Lululemon shorts underwear. So I stopped wearing any of like my cheeky ones or my thongs or anything like that. Again, because they were low-waisted, and I was looking for something that was high-waisted where the band would not touch the scar. That is so, so important. And again, you want airflow there. So don't wear anything tight or constricting or something that's going to affect it. The other thing that I will say about this is that what I was originally planning to do when I wasn't planning a C-section was I was planning to do the 5-5-5 method, which is 5 days on the bed. No, 5 days in the bed, 5 days on the bed, and then 5 days near the bed after you have your baby. This is to promote the idea of doing very little and letting your body heal and letting people support you around you after birth. However, with the C-section, it's actually kind of different. And this recommendation doesn't actually align as much with it, because if you're not a little bit mobile, you can get blood clots in the area, which can cause complications and maybe even infection. So I actually moved around the house more than I would have if I had a vaginal birth. So we have stairs in our house. So I did the stairs. I did oh my gosh, I don't know, maybe on week 3 or so, I went for a walk up the street and back down, something like that, very gentle, 5-10 minutes, very slow walk as well. You're not walking the dog. Don't let the dog pull you. No. You're walking very, very slow and very gentle. Other suggestions that I have for early in this time is that be very mindful of any carriers, baby carriers. I had 2 different baby carriers and I could not use them until a few months postpartum because they were too tight and sore on my scar and my healing and on my abdomen that only my husband could carry him when we would go for a walk and I wouldn't. And also, you shouldn't be holding that weight and trying to walk at the same time. That's too much exercise. That's too much of a workout in these really early days in the acute phase. I think that's kind of it for this phase. I did no massage. It's not recommended. And this was the time when I kind of just like touched it maybe every other day. Like I was like very like, whoa, like it was just very emotional. And also you're so puffy still after birth. Well, I was that I couldn't even see my toes looking down. Like I couldn't even see my scar. So I could only see it when I was looking in the mirror because I was still so big and so puffy. Your uterus is still big inside you. It hasn't shrunk yet. So it was definitely something that I was very aware of and just kind of let it heal on its own. I do want to quickly mention that during this time, you should be on high alert for any infections. There are certain signs and symptoms that go along with a C-section infection, and this can happen to up to 5 to 12% of C-section births. So, infections include increased pain or swelling, redness, warmth, hardening of tissue around the scar, pus or fluid leakage, a fever over 100 degrees, 0.4 Fahrenheit or 38 degrees Celsius, if there's a foul smell, or if the pain is worsening instead of improving after day 4 or 5. If anything feels off, trust your intuition and get checked right away. I was on morphine for the first week, so the pain I would not have noticed, and morphine was great. It was great. It really helped manage the pain. But honestly, after a week, I don't even think I took the last pill that they gave me because I just felt like I didn't need it and the pain was manageable. So be aware of these signs though for infection. And if anything feels off, please go get checked. Okay. As the weeks kind of go by and kind of when you get to that 6-week mark, that's when you can kind of start looking at something like scar massage. This is all about long-term pelvic health and fascial health. And this has been proven to make a big difference. A big difference. If you are listening to this and you had a C-section, when it comes to massage, the biggest difference you can make is in the first 6 months and then the first year. So it's actually really important to kind of spend that first year of postpartum trying to heal it and support it as much as you can. Now, that's not to say there's not more you can do later on, because there always is. You can always optimize your health. You can always do different things or go see an expert, or there's different, modalities and things that are coming out. But it's just before that tissue really, really hardens and closes up. I don't want to say for good, but more long-term, there's a lot you can do to kind of heal and help that process. So scar massage breaks up adhesions that can tug on organs, limit core mobility, and even affect fertility down the line, which is really important. It reduces long-term issues like lower back pain, bladder urgency, and painful sex. It increases blood and lymph flow to the area for deeper healing. A 2015 trial found that women who practiced self-scar massage had significantly better mobility and pain scores 6 months later. So when do you start? After the incision is fully healed, usually 6 to 8 weeks postpartum. You need to make that decision for yourself. Anything before 6 weeks, I would not do. It's not recommended from what I've seen. And start very, very gentle. Okay. I'm going to kind of describe a few things here. Start with a feather-like strokes. So literally go to the bathroom, take your finger and lightly just trace around the scar. And then maybe if you can, even on the actual line of the scar. I remember doing this and it was so sensitive. Holy. It was almost I don't want to say ticklish is the right word, but it was so sensitive that the idea of pushing or lifting or rolling the skin was outrageous at the time. But that sensitivity, the more you do it, the less sensitive it becomes, the more it heals. And then you can slowly progress to different techniques. There's a lot of YouTube videos on this, but you can do things like lifting, rolling the scar and the skin around the scar in between your thumbs and your index fingers. And you can do circular motions, which you would take like your 3 middle fingers and do like circular motions one way, the other way, do above the scar, on the sides, underneath, anywhere where you push when you're like, oh, it's tight there. Okay, I'm going to spend extra time there. That's what I would recommend. You can use castor oil, calendula balm, or magnesium cream to help soften tissue and reduce inflammation. And you can start with about 5 minutes a day and do it 4 to 5 times a week. And honestly, I would try to do this your entire first year of postpartum. Imagine waking up each day feeling energized, mentally sharp, and visibly youthful, no matter your age. I've unlocked exactly that with Novus Core, and it's completely upgraded my approach to longevity. Novus Core is the only longevity supplement that targets all 12 key causes of aging, something no other product does. Most supplements only address 1 or 2 aspects of aging, but Novus Core is a complete formula designed to work across all the biological pathways of aging in one simple daily drink. Developed by leading longevity experts from Harvard Medical School and MIT, Novus Core is backed by serious scientific research. What makes Novus Core so effective? It's packed with 12 scientifically validated ingredients like fisetin, glycine, calcium alpha, ketoglutarate, and magnesium, each included at scientifically proven doses. These ingredients work together to protect your DNA, help reduce inflammation and cellular senescence, and support stem cell health, effectively slowing aging at its root causes. And here's something even more exciting. You don't have to wait years to feel the difference. 81% of Novus customers report noticeable improvements in their skin, mood, energy, or sleep within just 2 weeks, with even greater benefits accumulating over time. Since incorporating Novus Core, I've experienced incredible boosts in my energy, honestly, like right away when I'm drinking it, improved sleep, sharper cognition, and balanced moods, and even visibly healthier skin, which we all love. I genuinely feel younger, healthier, and more vibrant every single day when I have this. If you are ready to take your longevity journey to the next level, you can visit novuslabs.com and use my discount code BIOHACKINGBRITTANY for 10% off of your first month subscription of Novus Core. That's novuslabs.com with code BIOHACKINGBRITTANY for 10% off your first month's subscription. Enjoy and let me know what you think. I would strongly suggest on top of this to go and see a pelvic floor physiotherapist. I saw somebody while I was pregnant, then I saw somebody different during postpartum, and she showed me like not on my scar, but on like her arm, all of these techniques. She also did a full examination of the scar, looking for anything that might be problematic, any infection, any issues. We also realized that when I had my C-section, they tied it off on the right-hand side because the right-hand side is much tighter on my body. And in my abdomens, when I'm doing like cat-cow, the yoga pose, I can feel how much tighter it is in my abdomen. So she said they likely tied it off during surgery on that side. So it's slightly tighter on that side. And now, 8 months postpartum, when I'm trying to lift and roll the scar off of the tissue underneath, my left side comes up much better than my right side. So seeing a professional is a must, in my opinion, for this. There are professionals out there who do the massage for you. That is something I have not done. And I don't personally know if that is something that I would be comfortable with. Unless you've had a C-section, the scar is such a personal space. It's so intimate. I can't even describe it. It's so intimate. I think it's just so intimate because of what happened and what your body had to go through to give you your baby that you love and cherish so much. And it's complex because you're healing from severe abdominal surgery at the same time of taking care of something that you didn't know you could love that much. So it's complex. It's really, really complicated having a C-section. There's a lot of emotion and there's a lot of trauma for most women. There's a lot of things to work through from it. And it takes months, maybe even years, I think, for a lot of women. So for me, maybe in the future, but the idea of a massage and having someone touch that area of my body is just something I wouldn't do. In the beginning, I think I had Ryan, my husband, I think he touched my scar maybe around 6 weeks, something like that. And it was like a big deal for me. I had to ask him. Like I said, hey, like, can you touch this for me? Because he did it beforehand. He didn't want to cross a line. He didn't, not that he didn't talk to me about it, but like he just didn't. And when he did, it was like a very emotional thing for me to have somebody else like put their hands on me there and like bring attention and heat and energy to it. It was very, very emotional. The other thing that I will say during this time, which is such a good idea, I don't even remember where I learned this. I don't know how I came up with this. I must have read it somewhere, but I bought a mirror for my shower, a little square mirror off of Amazon. I will link the one I have that can be put onto a shower wall. And essentially this suctions on and it comes with a little spray that you can use to keep it like from fogging up. And this was the best because I hadn't really been able to see my scar much in the beginning because I was so swollen. And then every time I would shower, I would start to see it. And I was, by myself and I was having this personal time. And that really moved the needle the most for me because in those moments, I would touch the scar. I would start to do a little bit of massage. I would feel calm with the hot water. And it created this like safe space for me. If you don't have a mirror in your shower, I strongly suggest it. It's also great for shaving. Like it's really handy. But yeah, definitely something that I would recommend. Okay. So that's like 6 to 8 weeks. Then we, move on further past that. I think it was at 6 weeks is when I started exercising? Yes. So around 6 weeks is when you can kind of start exercising again. I mean, you can wait for doctor approval, but like, I don't know. Doctor approval doesn't really mean much to me. So if it means something to you, then sure. C-section or not, your pelvic floor and core need rehab. Every single woman who has birth, it needs rehab. Okay. During pregnancy, the transverse abdominis, which is the deep core muscle, is stretched and often deactivated. The pelvic floor is compressed for months by your growing uterus, even without vaginal delivery. So what you want to start with is diaphragmatic breathing. This activates the pelvic floor and deep core naturally. And you want to work on posterior alignment work, which is like forward head posture and rib flaring are common postpartum issues, something that I'm still dealing with today, actually. So at 6 weeks postpartum, there are pelvic floor or postpartum workout routines you can start. I use the one by the Sweat app, and it started very, very gentle. Like I would lie on the floor and put my hands on my belly and like breathe in, breathe out, do like 360 breathing, it's called. We would do like very, very, very gentle movements and breath work for the core to kind of get the core stored, like activated a bit. We would do things like, I don't even think we did cat cow in the beginning. There's like bird dog. There's all these different things that you can do, but it was very, very minimal. And I'm so glad I did that because it actually did work. And I did the full program. I think it's like 3 workouts a week, and workouts is like, you're not sweating. Okay. It's not like that. And they're very short. So it's very, very doable. And it was very helpful. And then, like I said, like pelvic floor physiotherapy is wonderful as well. And this can help with scar mobility and pelvic tension, fascial release, nerve mobilization, and core reactivation. A 2021 systemic review found that pelvic physio in postpartum women reduced urinary incontinence by 64% and significantly improved pelvic pain, diastasis, and quality of life. Wow. So that is so, so huge. At this time, at about 6 to 8 weeks, you could probably start, you could probably start putting a red light therapy device right onto your scar. But I would like lie down and have it on so that there was no tension. So the device that I use and still use today is the Kineon device. This is targeted red lasers that penetrate very deeply and worked very, very well. This is like one of the best biohacks that you can think of in order to help with your scar. Honestly, I wish I did it more. I'm trying to do it 2 or 3 times a week right now. In the beginning, I was doing it every day, and I would strongly suggest doing this because the red light therapy goes through the cells, hits the mitochondria, gets the mitochondria to perform and activate better, which helps your cells work better, which means everything there is working better. The skin, the tissue, the fascial component, all of it. So I would really invest in a Kineon device if you can, because it made a big difference for me. And actually, this is like such a side note, but I was thinking about it today. I wonder if one of the reasons I got my period back so soon after giving birth was because I was using that red light therapy device. Because I got my period back after 4 months and I breastfeed on demand. So I was very surprised because obviously my prolactin levels are high, which usually delays you having your period. So I wonder if there is something there that kind of just like the red light therapy supported my ovaries and helped me to ovulate, and then my period started coming back. Anyway, something to think about. So that's definitely what you can do. And then long-term healing, you want to be thinking about functional strength and emotional integration. So functional movement. So like I said, I did the postpartum recovery program on the Sweat app with Kayla Itzinez. She's Australian. I've been doing her workouts and her team's workouts for like 7 years. So I love everything that they do. She's had 2 babies herself. And so I just relate a lot to her. And then once I graduated from that program, the 8-week program, I did some other workout, but like very gentle, very, very gentle. And I was actually able to close my diastasis recti. So diastasis recti is when your abs separate during pregnancy. And then after pregnancy, you can close them. The way that you close them is through breathwork and core work. And a pelvic floor physiotherapist will help a lot with this. And I actually got assessed and she's like, yeah, your abs have closed and stitched back together, which is just amazing. Because it would be really hard to not have a strong core and then be carrying around a baby for so long. You can rebuild strength with Pilates, yoga, or strength training, focusing on alignment and not intensity. You can do things like nervous system regulation, breath work, EFT tapping, somatic therapy, and even cold plunges can help you process this birth trauma if you have any. And you can look at like cycle syncing, which I have a guide on my website if you want it. Once your period returns, check your hormones and try to tailor your movement, nutrition, and supplements to your cycle. Studies show that postpartum neuroplasticity is real and your brain is literally rewiring for empathy, memory, and stress regulation. So supporting your body supports your brain during this time. So many of us focus on the baby, but you deserve sacred support too. You created life. And now you get to rebuild yours, stronger, softer, and more in tune than ever. Healing from a C-section is not a straight line. It's a spiral. Some days you'll feel amazing. Some days you'll feel like you're unraveling. Both are valid and both are part of the process. I get it. I've been there. I hope this helps. I might have to do some sort of videos and kind of show you a bit more of like the massage aspect to it. But this is a really, really wonderful holistic foundation, honestly, for healing your C-section. On top of this, obviously, try to have a whole foods, clean diet. Try to watch your stress levels. I'm not even going to say try to sleep because that's just not helpful in the postpartum time. Continue to take your prenatal, please, so that you're getting enough nutrients in, and try to have some support around you as well during this very delicate time. If this episode helped you, you can screenshot it and tag me at BIOHACKINGBRITTANY or send it to another mama who's recovering right now. And if you have a question for the next AMA, please just DM me. I've got you. Until next time, stay curious, stay nourished, and honor the masterpiece that is your healing body. Thanks for tuning in to Biohacking with Brittany. If you loved this episode, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone on their own wellness journey. Stay connected with me on Instagram at BiohackingBrittany for more on high performance health, non-toxic living, and the latest in biohacking. Until next time, keep striving for your healthiest, most vibrant self.